Hello there.
How's it going? How's it going?
Good, thank you. Well, it's worked so far. Good afternoon, just to you and to everybody else who's joining us. This is a new venture that we're trying. Get my face on the camera. Made in QEGS. It's going to grandly be called one day. This is very much a pilot episode, but we hope to expand and grow it in the future. We're really grateful to our former head boy at QEGS, James Bowler, for agreeing to be something of a test subject today and come along and appear in our pilot episode. So thank you, James. It's great to see you.
Of course.
Right, let's get started. James is, and correct me if I get any of this wrong, of course, trying to get things right and give you a good build-up. James is currently a consultant with Chartwell Consulting, and he works in America, and we'll ask him more about what exactly that involves in a minute. We're really grateful, extra grateful he's joined us because he's got up at some ridiculous hour of the morning. He's working in Texas. So what time is it for you there, James? About 5 in the morning?
Yeah, that's right. Just gone 5:01.
Just gone 5:01. So we're really, really extra grateful that you've done that to connect around your work day. So thank you. So James got a load of A stars at GCSE and some more A stars at A level back in the day. He left QEGS in 2015. Doing A levels in maths, further maths, physics and chemistry. And he went on to do maths at Cambridge. Somewhere along the line, and he can fill me in exactly when this happened, I think while he was still a student or just after, he did some work in Spain for the European Space Agency. And he also worked as a data scientist in a couple of roles before taking up his role with Chartwell nearly 3 years ago. He's also a former national junior chess champion and a chess coach. And as I mentioned, he was our head boy when he was here. So I'm really keen for us to get the lowdown on what else James has been up to since he left QEGS. So without further ado, James, hi.
Hi. Yeah, you nailed it. There's no
Oh, good.
to be made.
If there's anything else, if there's anything from the resume I should have put in, you can add it in as we talk. But I mean, that sounds pretty good. Sounds, a great start to life from QEGS and outwards. But tell us a bit more from there. What has led you from kind of walking out the door in 2015 to where you are now? Tell us a bit more about the journey, please.
Sure. Yeah. So, I mean, I have a very, very fond memories and experiences from school, but I think a lot of what I'm doing now really began probably when I was 16 or kind of moving into sixth form. I think that similarly for a lot of people, I think that's when you really start to narrow in on kind of what you're interested in and things like that. So, the journey to Cambridge, as you were right with me along the way with that one. All the preparation for that was was quite intense. But then also, as head boy and kind of some of the kind of internal roles at school that I had organizing events, I think that kind of whetted my appetite a little bit for wanting to work with people. Because, as you mentioned, I tried some kind of very technical roles in kind of data science, and coming from a math background, it kind of is a natural fit to go right into the do a big deep dive into some programming or something like that. But I definitely enjoy kind of working with people and making things happen. And actually after my degree, I felt like I wanted to do something a bit more tangible. Studying math for 3 years is quite abstract, and I definitely got the sense by the end that I wanted to do something quite different that was much more real world. Yeah. So oh, sorry, I think the signal's a bit ropey. Can you hear me?
In and out. But yeah, go on. I got you again.
Okay. So after university, went to work for Chartwell, and so definitely still applying some science, but much more in kind of a people-focused way. So we go to different manufacturing organizations around the world and help them to improve their productivity or efficiency. Doing a lot of problem solving in an engineering context. So right now I'm working at a trail mix manufacturing company, helping them to improve yields and their throughput. Yeah, work with a lot of like engineers and operators, people in maintenance, quality, plant manager, like so many different people, and yeah, I get to travel all over, and that's been really exciting.
That's the reason you're in Texas.
That's right. That's right. So the company I work for is in based in Boston. I actually live in Buffalo, New York at the moment,
Oh,
and then I kind of commute out on a weekly basis. Yes.
so wherever you. And do you work as part of a team? Or are you heading up a team, or is it just you? What's the nature of the work?
So from Chartwell, there's myself and one of the person from our team who reports to me, and then I work with a bunch of client people as well. So from the client's team, there's probably like 20, 30 people involved regularly, and so I work very closely with them. Like I say, all different departments. You got different people making sure the quality of like the nuts is good, and that everyone who's on the manufacturing floor knows what they're doing. Some like engineering projects going on to make sure like we're upgrading the equipment where we need to, and things like this. So a lot of different people for sure.
So they bring you in to ask the right questions to say, what are we missing, or what could we do better? And you guys are another pair of eyes. And I mean, is that what consulting is? That's probably what I understand on a basic level to be what a consultant does in the role you're in. Is that a good summary to say, or is there more to it than that?
Yeah, I think so. There are different kinds of consulting. So, I work in what would be called operations consulting. And then I guess on the other end of the spectrum, there's kind of strategy consulting, which would be the kind of more famous companies would be like McKinsey or Bain, for example. So they work very much in giving what generally I think kind of recommendations as to what a company should do over the next, let's say, 5 to 10 years to be successful. Like I say, I wanted to do something very tangible. So what we do is implementation work. So we arrive on like day one and do a bit of an assessment, and then say, I think in 6 months we can improve, throughput by this much. And then we go and do that. And, our fees are tied to the results of that. So I like the kind of under the gun implementation side of things. I think that's exciting. And
yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
but yeah, in general, consulting for sure. I think your description is right.
Okay, cool. Now, you live in America, but I can't help noticing that you don't speak with a Yorkshire accent anymore. So,
yeah.
Is that just a part of living where you live and getting on with people, or did it just evolve naturally?
Yeah, well, my accent always seems to chameleon very quickly. I think when I moved down to London, it was, quickly it kind of abandoned my roots, unfortunately. And yeah, very quickly since moving to the US. So I've been in the US for about just over, almost, let me think, just over 3 years now.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I don't know. It just happened. It wasn't under my control. I don't know what to say.
It's not a conscious thing. It's just what's happened. Yeah. I think it's a sign of intelligence. Let's go with that as to why it happens. I'm sure. Yeah, that was right. Sure. And you're becoming more of a naturalized American. I hear you're engaged. Is that correct?
Right, that's right. Yeah. So,
congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, I got engaged over last December. So exciting.
Excited. So you're likely to stay in America for the foreseeable future, we think. Is that fair?
Yeah,
to say?
That's right. That's the plan. I plan on making it back to the UK a little bit more frequently than I have in the last 18 months, shall we say. Will be nice to come back when restrictions are lifted for a bit, but yeah, I plan on staying out here, I think, for the foreseeable.
Well, it would be great to see if whenever you're back in the UK, if you can come into school, it'd be great to catch up in person as well. And thinking about school, looking backwards a little bit, as we do, have you got any memories of things that happened at school? Any particular moments that stand out as to being quite pivotal, or any just fond memories? Anything you want to share looking back at your days in school?
Sure. Yeah. So, like I say, I have very positive memories of school. Really, think there are a couple things that really stand out for me. So one was the opportunity to go to Tanzania on one of the kind of expedition trips that school runs. So we went for about 3 weeks, and there was a group of about 14 of us from across QEGS and Wakefield Girls High. And yeah, we just got to kind of be exposed to a very different culture, you know, still in kind of a, you know, a safeguarded way, if you like. We had our kind of professional like expedition leader with us, but definitely that was kind of an experience unlike anything I'd had before, and I think that definitely yeah, got me interested in kind of going further afield, and I have definitely taken advantage of that since. So I think that was really a good opportunity, and yeah, made some really good friends there, and just had a very just had a great time in a very different kind of culture. So that would be one thing for sure. And then I guess more academically, it would be I mean, as I said before, like getting to Cambridge felt like a journey, like at least kind of a 2-year process. But you know, like the independence that I was given at school, I think, you know, I was always wanted a bit more independence to be able to kind of teach myself, right? You know this as well as anyone did, but being able to kind of be accommodated in that way, and be able to kind of drive my own learning in kind of a complementary way with your support as well as other staff, and being able to kind of manage my own schedule a little bit, I think for me was just like the best thing for my education. And I think, you know, if I think about like, would that have been possible elsewhere, like at a different school, like, you know, maybe not. I think it required a lot of like trust from like teachers, and especially, you know, yourself. I think you told me afterwards about you had to you had to face up to Mr. Craig at the time to say, oh, these three students who are applying to study maths at Cambridge with me, Jack, and so I'm like, they're actually not, you know, not always going to class because we've got them on a separate kind of track. So I think it's only now that I appreciate how you know,
it was horrible.
how much of a risk that you were taking there. But yeah, so you know, that's something that, you know, I'll always be grateful for, and I think had, you know, a big impact on my, you know, success there. So
I think that says as much, guys, as well, in that you were capable of doing that. That's not everyone's experience, obviously. Some people, different students at different times need different amounts of support, and you guys have got to a point where you were managing it very well for yourselves and needed that more greater flexibility. So, you know, I think that I agree with you. I think that's the strength of the school, that we're able to, particularly in the sixth form, tailor what people need, what individual students need as much as we can. I mean, there are limitations sometimes, but no, I'm glad that's a memory you've got, because that's a memory I've got as well. Tell me some things you're really proud of since you left school. What are your greatest achievements? It's only been 6 years, but it sounds like it's been a busy 6 years. What are some particular things you think, oh yeah, I'm pleased that I was able to do that, or I've been able to achieve that? Give us a couple of highlights.
Sure. I mean, getting engaged has got to be up there, you know. That's I feel like I got to put that at number one. Yeah, I mean, I think there's lots of things working at Chartwell that I've been able to be involved with, which are have been exciting. So I worked for a few months in Indiana in the US at a kind of like pharma company that had just been given approval to make a new like cancer therapeutic that, like, the FDA trials has shown was much better than the previous one. And so we wanted to crank the dial on this one to be able to increase the output. And we in 3 months increased the output by like 40% of this new cancer drug that was kind of much better than the alternative. And so that was really exciting thing to be involved with from a work perspective. Yeah, I don't know. It's not so much of an achievement, I guess, but just I've been very lucky to have the opportunities to travel that I have. You know, I've been able to work kind of all over the world, and I think at some point, you know, I'm going to want to settle down a little bit and, you know, go not get on a plane every week. But that's certainly something that I think I'll be able to like look back on and be really like happy that I've had the opportunity to do that. You know, it's not something that many people get the opportunity to do. So working in Singapore, for example, was great. Yeah.
Yeah. And you mentioned travel. Are things back to normal, or are there still quite a lot of restrictions? How is the whole last 18 months, the whole COVID thing? Obviously, different countries have different experiences. How has that affected your work? Have you been able to work normally, not very normally? Has there been periods of where you've had to work from home? What's been the effect?
Sure. So
in the
so I was actually working in China at the start of the pandemic. So we got sent back. I got sent back to the US in like January of, I guess it was 2019. Sorry, 2020. Yeah. Because, you know, there were rumors of this, you know, mysterious pandemic beginning to, or I guess epidemic at the time beginning to unfold. And, you know, I don't think when we left, we kind of thought, oh, we'll be back, you know, a couple of weeks, it'll be fine. And, you know, here we are.
Yeah. Wow.
So
we're actually in China and got out there. Wow. Right at the start of it all.
Yeah. And
interesting.
Since I had some work with a like a food manufacturing client in the US in California, and so I ended up staying out there a lot of the time during the pandemic because, like you say, travel was difficult. But if you you know, kind of relocated for a shorter period of time, so I worked for a few months out there for yeah, I stayed in like an Airbnb near site and could walk to work every day, which is rare for us. So that was yeah, that was fun. But yeah, so I was very lucky again in that, you know, I was able to keep my job and able to kind of keep working through it. Yeah, but so again, just feel very lucky really, because I know a lot of people have had, you know, difficult experiences during the, you know, the last 18 months. So mine has not been too bad.
Sure, education's been interesting. There's been some new skills we've had to learn and some things we've had to do a bit differently, but we've coped. And one teacher said to me,
Yeah. Yeah, I can't even imagine. I'm jealous of you. Sure. Sure. So definitely like taking advantages of like opportunities at school. Oh yeah, can you hear me okay? Oh, can you hear me? Let me know when you can hear me. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, so taking advantages of the like the opportunities that school has, you know, there are just so many, especially now, like, with like QED and I'm sure there's a bunch of other things that have been new since I've left. And yeah, you don't need to do everything. Like there's too many things to do everything, but I think, you know, pick a few things that you can really sink your teeth into and you know, make something of it. You know, I definitely think that that's something that QEGS does really well. You know, whether it's through sports or through even things like flexibility in the subjects that you can take when you're studying, or, you know, head boy, or like being a prefect and being involved with some of the events, becoming, you know, good at those kind of things, or, you know, like extracurricular activities outside of that. So obviously I did a lot of chess, but you know, that doesn't have to be, that's not everyone's cup of tea. So something else. But yeah, I think just getting involved in some of the opportunities that school has. Yeah, absolutely. And then the other thing I guess would be, yeah, absolutely. Like for me, the most of, you know, the majority of my job is not in the academics. Like actually getting the job, the academics were very important, and I do use that kind of day to day. But what distinguishes like your ability to be like really make things happen and get things done, and you know, it's not the like hardcore academics. It's like you know, can you prioritize your time well? Can you like motivate other people? Can you just get on with people? You know, can you like convince people to do like what you think is right? And a lot of that is skills that you're not going to learn. But like I didn't learn that by you know, reading math textbooks, right?
No, definitely not. But learn it by your interactions and the academic conversations, but also the personal and developmental conversations. No, I absolutely agree.
Yeah.
And you know, clearly you have done that with Bells on to be as successful as you are. Have you? Okay, so a couple of things now. You know, we don't want to take all your time. You've got to go and get ready for work. And we're really grateful for you joining us. A couple of things to think about. If you could go back in time and give yourself, you know, James in year 12, give yourself a piece of advice, any particular piece of advice or anything that you think, oh, I wish I'd known that because I'd have done. I might have thought about that differently. Is there anything? You might not be able to think of anything, but is there a particular piece of advice you might give your younger self?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, me personally, I probably at times like bit off a bit more than I could chew, I think. Well, and I don't know. In year 12, I started trying to do like 5. You know, I did like maths for the maths, physics, chemistry, and then tried to do Spanish as well, and that didn't last very long. So, and you know, I was trying to do lots of extracurriculars and just so many different things. And so for me personally, I was doing like a little too much maybe at that time. You know, I think I figured it out in the end, but yeah,
Don't over.
but to be honest, I feel like more by luck than judgment, I, you know, did make the most of kind of the opportunities I had, and
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Today is National Thank a Teacher Day. I don't know if you knew that in the UK.
It is.
So obviously, apart from me, obviously, are there any other teachers from QEGS or from elsewhere, from university or anywhere else that you might like to say a quick thank you, and maybe why?
Yeah.
Anybody?
Yeah. Well, so I feel like I've given you enough of a shout out already. Yeah.
Thank you.
Mrs. Ramsden, who is my form tutor in year 9, is having a bit of a tough time, and you know, she really helped me through that. Gave me the kind of yeah, like pastoral support that I needed at the time. Mr. Westerdale, who was my Spanish teacher, like I said, I couldn't manage to do that as an AS level, but since have you know, have picked up Spanish like fairly fluently. That's actually here, like we're just on the Mexican border, so a lot of people at work, you know, speak only Spanish, so that's coming in right now.
You worked in Spain. You worked in Spain for a period.
That's right. Yeah, so I went to language school there for 3 months, and then went to work for the European Space Agency for a few months in Madrid. Yeah. So that yeah, I don't know who, there are like so many. Mr. Lambert, a chemistry teacher, he was great. That was definitely like the hardest subject for me at A level, and he was a great teacher there. Yeah, I feel bad now if anyone listens to this. Feels
people, isn't it? You definitely think like, oh, I wish I'd mentioned, but no, those people all still work here. Obviously, we'll be delighted to get a shout out from you on on our pilot episode. Please pass on my good wishes to your family as well. I haven't seen Rob for the longest time, but it'd be, you know, when things are normal, it'd be great to see you and him back in school. I'm going to let you go and get ready for work, James, and thank you ever so much for getting up so early in the morning to join us. And this is recorded. We'll post it on the school QEGS Yorkshire Instagram feed. So if people want to watch it back, they're very welcome to. And I think that went pretty well. I don't know what you think, but we'll see what the audience makes of it. But thank you ever so much.
No problem. Sorry about the connection issues, but yeah. Thanks for,
I think it works all right. So thank you ever so much, and thank you for testing a concept which I think works pretty well. And we'll, if there's anybody watching who is desperate to come on QEGS TV, as mainly QEGS TV, as I think we're going to bill it, and in the future, and tell us what you've been up to, we'd be more than delighted to hear from you. But thank you ever so much, James, and good luck with your work day and the rest of your career, I suppose. But we'll stay in touch. And as I said before, next time you're back in the UK, definitely come into school. It'd be brilliant to see you and catch up. So
awesome.
Thank you ever so
much. Thanks very much, Mark. And yeah, well, I'll hit you up next time I'm in the UK and we can go for a pint. Sounds good.
Definitely.